Hello, 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 and welcome to the Great Pop Culture Debate video episode devoted to the best Thanksgiving side dish. My name is Eric Rezsnyak. I'm your host, and like all of the dishes we're about to talk about, I'm best with lots of butter. I am joined by my amazing panel. She's one of my very best spuds. It's Kate Racculia. Welcome back, Kate.
I'm so grateful for you, Eric. Or I should have said thankful. Sorry.
It all works. We're going to go with it. Next, I don't remember eating corn, but I could never forget Amy Pilott. Hi, Amy.
Hi, how are you? I had my first Thanksgiving festivity this morning, so I am ready.
What did you do?
We had a thankful breakfast for our volunteers at the hospital today.
Oh, that's cute.
So
did you
we are
serve
kicking
turkey?
off. No, there were hospital cafeteria eggs and sausages, so...
Thankful. Yeah.
Yum!
Yum. And next, he's our muscle from Brussels sprouts. Please welcome David Silbert to the Great Pop Culture Debate. Hi, David.
Hi there. It's great to be on.
Yeah, this is David's first ever episode, and what an important, ostentatious event for the best Thanksgiving. Auspicious. That's the word I'm looking for. Rhymes with spinach. Event for him to join us. The best Thanksgiving side dish. What an incredible topic. No, David is a longtime video game journalist and also food journalist. Correct, David?
Yeah, maybe more on the former. The latter, food, I dabble here and there, but I mean, when you eat food, it's hard to mess it up, right?
Exactly. And you have your own blog, correct? What's the blog that people should be checking out?
Yeah, the blog is called The Punish Backlog. That's all video games, entertainment. Go check it out if you have the time. We have fun over there.
Awesome. And most of my Thanksgiving dinners do, in fact, punish me back the next day. So very much
You're not
on
alone.
theme.
Not alone.
Yep. So how does this work? This is an 8-seed debate, so it's going to be super quick, folks. Before we start, I'd like to ask each of the panelists to share one side dish that we're not going to be talking about that's missing from the bracket. I didn't prep you for this, so I'm springing it on you. I'll go first because of that. I'm stunned that mac and cheese didn't make it, and I'm bummed that mac and cheese didn't. I didn't realize this is the side dish that's popular until I lived in Virginia. In the South, mac and cheese is part of Thanksgiving, and it also led to one of my all-time great embarrassing moments with my family when I came back to New York after living in Virginia. I was like, I'm going to go bougie and make fancy mac and cheese for Thanksgiving. Decided to do truffle mac and cheese, quadrupled the recipe, and you know what you shouldn't do when you're quadrupling recipes with truffle oil? Quadruple the truffle oil. It was inedible, and my apartment, Bob Erlenbeck, one of the panelists on this here podcast, walked into our shared apartment at the time and said, "It smells like death." And that was true, and yet I still made my nephews eat it. They loved it. Amy, do you have a side dish that you were sad did not make it?
You know what? I don't have a side dish. I will just say that I count apple pie as a necessary... So while I might not be eating it with the turkey, it is part of the meal. And if it's not there, it's not Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's part of the planning process for your multiple stomachs on Thanksgiving. Agreed with that completely.
It's part of like when is the pie going in the oven? Like it has to be included.
Yeah. And I do want to do a best pie debate at some point, so
yes.
That will be hotly contested. Kate, do you have a side dish that you think should have been on here?
Wither the butternut squash with a little butter, a little brown sugar. That is actually, honestly, of all of the things, other than the one that I'm going to, like, despite all reason, push to be the winner, probably my favorite side dish, and it's not on here.
If you didn't listen to our best breakfast cereal episode way back from season 1, this is important context for this discussion. Kate has the tastes of an 80-year-old woman.
I like my squash.
She likes
delicious.
Squash.
With a little bit of sugar, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. David, do you have a side dish that you were sad didn't make it?
Yeah, mac and cheese would have been my top choice, but how about a candied yam as well? I love a candied yam. That's an omission in my book.
For sure, with the marshmallows on top,
yeah.
Get the blowtorch going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Delicious. All right, well, let's jump into the actual bracket for this. The first match is between mashed potatoes and corn. Amy, why are you boiling at the prospect of potatoes going out in round 1? David, give us the kernel of your argument for corn. Amy, please talk to us.
I think that mashed potatoes, and I want to start by saying I am not talking about sweet potatoes. I am talking about mashed potatoes. White, Idaho, russet potatoes. To me, this is the starch. This is really like your main starch on the table. Well, it's one of the main starches. There's a lot of starches on the table.
There should be nothing but starches on the table.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
You're like, actually, no, it's all starches.
But, so also, I should add that I am married to a British man who has adopted Thanksgiving as part of our essential and really looks at the mashed potatoes as part of also our leftover planning. Because he'll make bubbles and squeak, which is mashed potato based, or like a skillet in the morning with potatoes. So I just think the mashed potatoes are really important. I think they add some texture to your plate, and you can really kind of throw things in there. Mix it up. I like a white mashed potato, creamy, buttery, nothing fancy.
Do you put milk in it? Do you put milk in your mashed potatoes?
A little bit of splash, yeah.
Okay, just a splash. Thank you very much. David, talk to us about corn, and what's the type of corn you prefer for Thanksgiving?
Sorry, just talk to us about corn.
Talk to us about corn.
When I think about corn, I'm not I shouldn't start my argument with a counter argument, but I'm not the biggest mashed potatoes person. So with that said, I would say corn is a pretty fundamental starch when we're talking about Thanksgiving side dishes. What I like about corn, especially, is its versatility. So you could have it straight off on the cob, you can char it, you can keep it as is, right? Just give it a boil. Or obviously cut it off the corn, cut off the cob, add some cotija cheese, add whatever spices you want, garlic, salt, pepper, whatever. It's versatile, it's traditional, it's been around forever. And I don't, maybe taboo to say it, for Thanksgiving, but healthy? I don't know. I feel like corn, you can make it as healthy or unhealthy as you want, and it's always going to go nice with everything. My 2 cents.
Great point. And also, I mean, you said it. It was part of the original Thanksgiving, right? Like, corn was there. Were mashed potatoes at the original Thanksgiving? We may never know. Kate Racculia, is it going to be mashed potatoes or corn for you?
It's when you said cotija cheese, I was like, oh yeah, corn is really good. I almost but I think I have to give it to mashed potatoes because it feels so fundamentally like part of a Thanksgiving meal to me. While also, David, I agree, I am not a mashed potato. It feels like it takes up space on the plate that I don't really care about. But I feel like it's part of the plate. When I see the Thanksgiving plate in my mind, it has mashed potatoes on it.
And I will add, I will stick with mashed potatoes, but I believe that corn is an essential decorative item on your tablescape.
For sure, yes. So we're going to have that off on the side, literally. I can't believe, Kate, that you would say that that mashed potatoes is taking up space on your plate.
Yes.
I want as much mashed potato as possible on my plate. The mashed potato to butter ratio is frankly completely ridiculous on my plate, but it's so good. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I have hypertension. But that's 3 for mashed potatoes, so it will be moving into round 2. Next, it's Brussels sprouts, which is Brussels singular, not plural. I've been saying it wrong for the past 46 years, versus green bean casserole. I'll explain why I've had a full 180 on sprouts over the course of my life. Kate, please top your argument with crispy fried onions as you explain why green bean casserole is your pick here. Kate, please go first.
Green bean casserole so part of my rubric was like, how tied to Thanksgiving, how iconically Thanksgiving is this food? Green bean casserole is iconically Thanksgiving to the point that 50% of Campbell's cream of mushroom soup sales occur between November and January.
Wow.
That's just, you don't make green bean casserole at any other time of year.
No.
It was created by the Campbell Soup Company by an employee named Dorcas Riley in the Dorcas in the Campbell Test Kitchen, which used to be called the Campbell's Home Economics Department.
Love it.
When I want to get deeply in touch with my waspy mid-century baby boom heritage, this side dish is comforting better living through domestic science, chemistry, just here you throw this can of soup in with some onions that also come in a can, and you put it all in the oven, and it's delicious, and it is. It is the most ersatz thing possible. You barely have to chew it. I would eat a giant plate of this over a giant plate of mashed potatoes any day.
I mean, this is Thanksgiving alchemy on a plate, right?
It is.
On their own, green beans, fine. Cream of mushroom soup on its own, disgusting.
Disgusting.
Crispy fried onions, I'm not going to eat that on their own, but
Nope.
you put them all together, and damn if it doesn't taste delicious. But I'm here to talk about Brussels sprouts. I hate it. Raise your hand, people, if you hated Brussels sprouts as a child. Yeah, that's unanimous.
Oh, they
But-
can see us. They can see us.
They
Usually
can
it's a
see
podcast,
us.
so they can't
Yeah.
see us.
This is
How
the future,
excited.
Kate. Yeah. So that's 4 for 4. And I think the issue was, at least growing up in the 80s and 90s, my parents used to boil the the Brussels sprouts, and they were disgusting. They smelled like feet. They were gross.
Yep.
I don't know if you've ever actually done this, but like we grew up basically on a farm. Kate, can you agree with that?
It's true. They
She
did.
was there.
I was
and we
there.
would
Well, I
literally
wasn't
go
there, but I saw it.
You saw it. We would literally go out to the garden in the snow, because at that point, before global warming, there was always snow on Thanksgiving. And we would literally pluck a stalk of Brussels sprouts out of the snow from our garden, and they looked like they were on a spine, a human spine. That's how they actually came.
I've grown Brussels sprouts in my backyard.
Yeah, and it
In
looks
my
like a
vegetable
spine.
garden. Yeah, but I was very proud of them. You're saying like it's a very bad thing. I was very proud when I pulled that thing out of the ground.
I just found them very disturbing as a child. Like, this seems like I shouldn't. This is like something out of H.R. Geiger Alien or something, right? And I had to. You have to shell them. It's a lot of work. But then someone, probably Martha Stewart, I'm going to give Martha Stewart the credit, was like, "No, you dummy. You don't boil them. You roast them with olive oil and a little bit of, is it thyme or rosemary?
Salt and
or
pepper,
salt and
garlic.
pepper,
Pepper,
whatever you
man.
want. And god damn it if they aren't great. A little bit of char on them, and damn, that's good. David, where are you? Are you going to be Brussels sprouts, or are you going to be green beans roll?
I have to go Brussels sprouts all the way because that resonated with me. I never liked Brussels sprouts growing up, and I'm sorry, I don't think I've ever had green bean casserole, which maybe there's some bias in there. I'll have to try it. But,
I mean, I really can't say it's good.
Right.
well, there you go, right there.
Yeah. It is. A green bean
I can
casserole
say
is.
I love it, but I don't know if it's good.
Brussels sprouts with some bacon, perfect in my view.
There
or
you
some
go.
like buffalo sauce.
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Amy, is it Brussels sprouts or green bean casserole for you?
This one is hard because I do appreciate the argument that the green bean casserole is a Thanksgiving dish.
Yeah.
It really that fact about the soup is amazing. Also, maybe they should only consider selling it for part of the year. Maybe they don't need to be in production. This is hard because it's what do I like versus what belongs on the table.
Mm. What are you going to go with?
I'm gonna go, Kate. I'm gonna go with you. I think that this is it's important. It's important we
part of
look
American
at
history.
and you know what? And you have the statistics to back it up that it's essential, and people are doing it.
They're doing it.
They're
It
doing
was
it.
originally designed to be an everyday side dish. It did not
It
take
is
off
not.
until the
Nope.
60s when they put
Yeah.
the recipe on the label, and people were like,
Let me give this a shot. You know what? It's a tie, and it's the holidays, and I'm going to give this one to Kate. So you
Thanks,
actually
friends.
did research, and I just pulled stuff out of the youth, much like the vegetables plucked from my garden. So congratulations, green bean casserole. It's a Christmas miracle. You're moving on around. Next, we have a unanimous decision, biscuits versus carrots. Biscuits is continuing in our Carbapalooza. Did anyone want to say anything about carrots? They're festive.
They're orange.
They're orange. They
They're
make you see better, allegedly.
and again, very decorative, good fall color.
Yes.
yes.
And I will say a roasted carrot with maybe something to glaze it, maybe like an apple cider vinegar situation going on, or a honey glaze, delicious. But biscuits, again, butter being one of my big rubrics, I gotta have me some of them. The grands, preferably the grands, because we're trashy. Amy?
I will share just a fabulous story. Again, I mentioned, so James actually is the primary cook in our house. I just do the eating. And in England, they make Yorkshire puddings, which are kind of like a popover. And they are an essential Christmas side dish. So he introduced them for Thanksgiving in our family. And when my son was in first grade and went around the room and they said, "What is your favorite Thanksgiving food?" And he raised his hand and said, "Yorkshire puddings." The teacher looked at him like, do you have Thanksgiving? Are you deprived? Like, what are you talking about? and came to realize at parent-teacher conferences that his father was British. And we've truly infused our cultures. So we don't do biscuits, we do Yorkshire puddings.
I love that, and I also really enjoy the division of labor that you have in your house, which is he does the cooking, you do the eating. Sign me up for that. Next, match 4, it's stuffing versus cranberry sauce. Amy, make sure that your stuffing argument is not stale. Kate, I would never call you a tart, but I do need you to give me some fun canned facts about cranberry sauce. I'm going to have Amy go first.
Okay. I just want to start off by saying I think cranberry sauce is essential to the Thanksgiving table. I like a whole berry cranberry sauce, and I believe it is a condiment.
Okay. This is
This is really important because it goes on my stuffing or on my mashed potatoes as a dressing almost, which is why it doesn't make sense to me to have it in this conversation, because I do not think your canned cranberry that you slice is a thing. That's no. But stuffing it's an essential part of Thanksgiving because it actually helps you cook the bird, right? Like you're putting all of that stuff, literally stuffing your turkey, as I'm told by my husband who does the cooking. And you're putting it inside with all of your spices and your flavors, and it serves a purpose in your meal, and then it's delicious. It is the hardest working part of the Thanksgiving table.
It's a good argument. It's a good argument. Thank you. Kate, talk to us about cranberry. Actually, before you do that, Kate, I need to ask David, do you consider cranberry sauce a condiment or a side dish? This is an important... We need the answers here.
I consider it a side dish. I could just... And maybe I'm really weird and out there, but I love canned cranberry.
Same. 100.
Just eat that right out of it. Like, I just get that little side dish for myself and enjoy that. So I consider it fair game.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I would say, Amy, I enjoy both the sliced out of the can. You plop it on there. You literally cut it with a knife. It stands up on its own. Should it be doing that? No, it's not solid. It's not liquid. It's its own form of matter, but it's delicious. But I also love a good whole cranberry relish.
That is the one thing I cook. I make the whole berry.
Yep. And I will eat that with a spoon by itself. To me, it's still a side dish. That being said, Kate, talk to us about cranberry sauce.
So, you think stuffing is the hardest working side dish? If it goes on all of the other sides, is it not the side? This one side to rule them all? Cranberry sauce is the whole package. It has the history. Not only were the indigenous people of this land eating cranberries all the way back, it was in the 1796 edition of American Cookery by Amelia Simmons, the first known cookbook authored by an American. There's a recipe for cranberry sauce. It goes all the way up to a story of 20th century corporate ingenuity. There was a guy in south of Boston who had a cranberry. He was a lawyer who had a cranberry farm and was like, hey, I'm going to start making jellied cranberries. He was trying to use the kind of crappy ones that you couldn't use to make good sauce, and he boiled them down and made a jelly. And then he joined with 2 other cranberry farmers, and they formed a cooperative called Ocean Spray. Did you know Ocean Spray is a cooperative still?
I didn't know it was a cooperative.
That's so cool.
Still. That's cool.
Very Thanksgiving. Just saying.
Yeah.
Also, the argument which we just did, whole cranberries versus canned, is there a more appropriate thing or comforting, low stakes, hot takes thing to argue about at Thanksgiving than that? There is not.
Good arguments. David...
No, wait.
She's not done.
I have more. It's delicious. It's the thing that makes a turkey sandwich a Thanksgiving turkey sandwich. Also, it's bright. It's beautiful. It is the ruby gem on your plate, without which your Thanksgiving meal would be a plate of brown.
It would. I can't argue
Not
that.
if you have Brussels sprouts.
Or
green
carrots.
beans. Or carrots.
Yep.
But also...
They're on the brownish spectrum.
But Amy, you wanted to retittle her retattle?
Yes. I do want to say that stuffing also has a very significant history. Going back to 1390, when it was called farce. And then, notably, it was called dressing.
Yes.
In 1850, and has been around here for quite a while. And I just want to point out, as you mentioned, cranberry sauce is what goes on the turkey sandwich to make it a Thanksgiving turkey sandwich kind of sounds like a condiment to me.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
See, David, this is what happens on this show. It's supposed to be easy, and then we get into the digs, and that's why I love it, the pettiness. David, cranberry sauce, or is it going to be stuffing for you?
This is a tough one, but I feel like stuffing, it's just too good. This is just like, and there's just so many different ways to make it, and there's always competing stuffings at the table. And I don't know which one's
stuffing,
better.
A dry stuffing.
A dry stuffing. I slightly, I don't know, less dry. I'll eat it no matter what. It's just fantastic.
It could be sopping wet. It could be kind of moist. It could be dry as dirt, but I'm still going to eat it. So that is 3 for stuffing, and it will continue into the final 4. So in our final 4, it's mashed potatoes versus green bean casserole, our Cinderella story. I'd like to start and go around the horn here. Amy, mashed potatoes or green bean casserole?
We brought green beans this far, but we're going to go mashed potatoes.
David Silbert, is it going to be mashed potatoes or a green bean casserole?
It's going to be mashed potatoes.
Kate?
As your noted chaos agent, I am going to vote for green bean casserole.
I'm 100 pushing mashed potatoes here, but you did a great job, and the French's and Campbell's Soup Company celebrate you for
They
for
owe
your
me money.
yeoman-like work.
Today.
Yes, exactly. Next, it's biscuits versus stuffing. I'm going to start reverse order. Kate, is it biscuits or stuffing for you?
Oh, it's biscuits. It's biscuits.
Okay.
It's biscuits. It's biscuits because they are an essential part of the plate that day, but they're incredible for leftovers. And I honestly feel like the stuffing loses a little bit of something over time, but the biscuits just get better.
Interesting. Okay, we'll have this debate. David, is it going to be biscuits or stuffing for you?
See, I got to go the opposite here. I'm going to stick with stuffing. I feel like that is much better leftover material. I think a biscuit can get awfully stale the next day. Doesn't last too long.
I'm on that team too, Kate. Maybe I'm having the wrong kind of biscuits, but
or maybe I'm just thinking of slathering my biscuits with turkey and gravy.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about gravy.
We did talk about gravy.
That's definitely a condiment.
Okay,
well, there you go. Another debate for you to have at your table this year.
Taking handfuls of gravy.
Right.
And you eat it with your hands. Yeah.
Amy, is it going to be biscuits or stuffing for you?
Absolutely stuffing.
All right, I'm going to give it to stuffing too, which means, Kate, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
You got knocked out, but you have a final 2 of mashed potatoes versus stuffing. It's Carbapalooza. It's exactly what I want out of my Thanksgiving. David, as our guest, is your first appearance on the Great Pop Culture Debate, which one do you think is winning this? Is it mashed potatoes or stuffing?
I don't know which one's going to win. I know what my heart says, and I say I got to stick with stuffing. It's just, you could get rid of any other dish, even the main dish. I love my ham, and I like turkey a little bit, but you get rid of both of those. As long as stuffing's at the table, I'm with it.
Yep. Amy, is it going to be mashed potatoes or stuffing for you?
Stuffing. Absolutely.
Kate, you didn't want either of these.
Of the 2, I do love stuffing. I don't want to give the impression that I don't love stuffing. And every year my mother cooks her mirepoix on the stove from the Betty Crocker mix. It's not mirepoix, it's just a crap ton of butter and celery, and pours it in. We use cubed potato bread, and my aunt and I get our hands in there, and that is a Thanksgiving miracle, that little tradition. So I have to give it to stuffing here.
Yeah, I just think there's something so amazing that it's the one time of year we take old bread and some very tiny vegetables, and we ball it together and we just stuff it into the carcass of an animal, and then we roast it for 6 hours, and we're like, voila, eat, enjoy. Hopefully don't get some type of disease. I'm curious, because I'm also going to give it to stuffing. We're giving a clean sweep to stuffing. I'm curious, so you do more herb stuffing, Kate? That's what I'm hearing?
Yeah, it's mostly butter, poultry seasoning, various things. We do not put it in the bird. My family just does turkey breasts, bunch of weirdos, because we're we don't really like dark meat. So. Yeah, it's a lot of work, yeah. Mm-hmm. David, what's your preferred stuffing for you and your family?
I think what a celery stuffing? What was the name we used? I'm not too well versed in my
stuffing is what I've kind of heard it talked about. Yeah. Do you put it in the bird?
We do, and that fantastic. Yeah.
The best part is the part that was exposed from the cavity and gets real crispy. Mm-hmm. Amy, what about you? What's your preferred stuffing?
We actually do a little bit of both, so that there's some that is stuffed and some that is just made on the stove. I really want to find out now how much stovetop sales go up. I bet you they do. I bet you they're right around with the mushroom soup.
And I bet it's
Around
the only time of the year you can get turkey flavored stovetop too, because mostly it's just chicken.
It's chicken.
We do that, but we also, my mom used to actually take the giblets and the stuff from the bird and actually like Cuisinart them and put them into the stuffing, which sounds disgusting, but was really savory and delicious. And then my sister-in-law introduced us to the beauty of mushroom stuffing, which I think is so good. And I'd never had it until, in my 30s. But there you go, folks. Our ultimate winner by a landslide is stuffing. That's the best Thanksgiving side dish. We're thankful that you watched this video. For more Thanksgiving content from the Great Pop Culture Debate, check out our website, greatpopculturedebate.com. You'll find the best Macy's Thanksgiving Day balloon episode already there, as well as a top 10 of the best Thanksgiving Day parade fails, which is a fun one. But make sure that you also subscribe to the podcast and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more original video content. We want to do a weird candy cane taste test for Christmas, so make sure you don't miss out on that. But thank you so much for watching. We hope that you have an amazing Thanksgiving and a wonderful holidays. From all of us here at the Great Pop Culture Debate, have a good one. And remember, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinions, especially at Thanksgiving. Maybe not so much in 2024, but good luck.